Welcome back to some more Monster Energy Supercross 3. Today we are going to do another 2 best, 2 worst video, but this time it is going to be on the compound on the test tracks. So we have our 2 best, 2 worst, and an honorable mention, because out of the 8 test tracks, it was really tough for me to just pick 2 best, because I actually enjoyed most of them. So let's jump into this, starting with the 2 best. Alright, so to start things off, we have Test Track 2. Now, similar to how I felt about Seattle, I remember when I was checking out these tracks for the first time, Test Track 2 here was like, it stood out. It was, I remember hitting that line where we sent it over the face of that triple. Maybe not the most realistic, but it was fun. And there's actually quite a few different ways you can hit sections on this track. I feel like it's actually one of the tougher tracks to consistently hit the lines you want to. I mean, section we didn't really hit the most realistic line either, because we kind of cased into it and then hopped up onto the table. But it's fun. It's really fun. It's fun going for those big lines, and then you can also hit it with the a little bit more realistic. I believe on this lap we actually do hit the section after this triple here a little bit better, but I don't know, it's fun. I assume it's probably pretty fun in multiplayer. I haven't really tried it in multiplayer yet. For the most part, when I jump into multiplayer, we just race the stock Supercross track. So it would be fun, and I feel like it would even itself out, because it's not just about who has the fastest line around the track. You might have the fastest lap here, but it doesn't mean you're going to win. I mean, the game in general is very much that way, that even if you're the fastest guy, you might not win the race. And I feel like this track would add to that, because it's kind of a track where it's tough to hit the same line, the fastest way around the track, every lap. So Test Track 2 is coming in at number 2 on my list. Coming in at number 1 is Track 8. This track actually was supposed to be number 2, but the more I played it, the more I enjoyed it. Similar to how I feel about Track 2, it has many different ways you can hit the track, many different line choices, and they're all fairly competitive. We do hit the triple in here, which I feel like isn't probably faster, but it's fun, and it is competitive. Either way through that section is it's really close. I mean, it's not like one line is way faster than the other. Probably one of the toughest sections on this track is before the finish. You have that roller, then you have that double, and then the finish line. And that double, it's really easy to overjump it and then kind of case into the finish line, and then not be able to double the finish. And then that rhythm section afterwards, you saw us hit it a different way, which is very fun. And then here, yeah, we go triple over the table, and then triple out. Very fun line. First time I was checking out this track, I felt like you could triple in, but I wasn't sure, and then the more I played the game and kind of learned how to actually play the game, I figured out that, yeah, okay, we actually can triple in. So, really fun track, a very tough track, a very, in my opinion, technical track, but definitely worthy of the number 1 spot. Alright, switching over to my 2 least favorite tracks, this is Track 7. Now that section we just hit is actually kind of fun. There is 2 different ways through that. Both of them are very comparable. I feel like both of them are competitive lines you can take. They're very similar. It's just, you know, if you take that outside, yeah, it's faster through the section, but you have to go so far outside that it makes it kind of tough. But in my opinion, that is the best part about this track, because yeah, I'll show you a different line through that table section, but the rest of it ends up being the same. It's a very short track. It just doesn't feel like it has a ton to it. Now, before you say this is your favorite track, I don't hate any of these tracks. I actually feel like all of them are very fun. I'm just saying, if I had to choose two of my least favorite, this would probably, or not probably, this is one of them. So you did see us quad into that section, and then the rest of it was the same as the other line we took. We just skipped over that middle table basically, but the rest of that was the same. So yes, if it's your favorite track, I can see why. I mean, there is some fun sections. It's just, like I said, it's kind of a short track. I don't feel like there's a lot of different line choices out there, and if I had to say what my two least favorite were, this would be one of them. So track 7 coming in at number 2 on my list. And coming in at number 1 is Test Track 4. This track, again, I don't feel like it's a bad track, okay? If it's your favorite track, I get it. I see it, because I actually enjoy all 8 test tracks. But if I had to pick which is my least favorite, it would be Test Track 4 here, because I feel like it is a very one-line kind of track. There are a couple ways through this back rhythm section, but I feel like the fastest and most consistent is the way we're hitting it here. Now, if you're a pro and you're watching this, then okay, maybe you can hit some huge lines through some of these sections that I can't get. But coming from my ability in the game and how I play this track, it is a very one-line kind of track with not a ton of options. Now, it could provide some really insane multiplayer, because I feel like everybody would be hitting the same line around the track. It would be really close racing. You know, it would come down to whoever made that tiny mistake. But overall, I prefer having that fun, viable line choice where both ways are pretty fast through the section, and you can be competitive with your opponent, I guess, and have some crazy online battles. So yes, Test Track 4 is coming in at number 1 on my least favorite list. And here we have honorable mention. This is Test Track 6. This track was fighting for second place on my favorite tracks list. I mean, I'm not really sure what it is about the track that I really love. I think it's probably the rhythm sections. That rhythm section after the Supercross triple, you can hit it 2 different ways, both of which feel very competitive, very, very similar, very viable. I mean, either way seems pretty fast. Maybe one way's a tiny bit faster, but then, you know, if you take the slower line, you can make it up in one of the other 2 rhythm sections after it. The whoops are pretty big and kind of tough here. It's just a fun track, but it didn't quite make the cut, because I still feel like track 2 and track 8 were better, especially track 8. But Test Track 6 and 2 were kind of competing against each other. So let me know in the comments what your guys' favorite test tracks are, similar to what we did with the 2 best, 2 worst stock Supercross tracks, because it was interesting to see how you guys felt about it. But there you have my list, and if you do have an honorable mention, let me know in the comments. Again, I do want to say that I feel like all 8 Supercross test tracks are very, very good, but these were how I would rate them if I had to put them in a 2 best, 2 worst list. So Yes, and I did leave out the motocross track because I don't know. I just I just wanted to count the test tracks. But you guys and girls are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for the support on the channel lately. It really does mean a lot. And until the next video, take it easy.